Vande Pannagabhushanam Sasidaram Vande Pasunam Patim Vande Surya Shashanka Vanhinayanam Vande Mukunda Priyam Vande Bhaktajana Ashrayam Chavaradam Vande Bhaktajana Ashrayam Chavaradam Vande Shivam Shankaram. Friends, Dadami Divya Chakshu. Lord Krishna says, I give you Divya Chakshu, divine eye. Chakshu is eye. Divya is divine. I bless you with the vision of wisdom. I bless you with the quality of intuition. You will be blessed to be a seer. Our rishis are seers. They are jnanis. They intuit the truth. They are the researchers. And the Divya Chakshu they do have, they are able to see, and they are called therefore seers. What they see is truth. They are called mantra drashtas. They see the truth in a precise form, in sutra form, and they need not verify it because they have developed such a quality of life at the physical level, psychic level, and the intellectual level. They never err. There is no question of their committing a mistake. They are sure to be perfectly correct. That is the quality of a rishi in India. What does then science do? Einstein is supposed to have been asked a question. When you have discovered that wonderful formula or the mantra or that sutra is equal to mc square, he is reported to have said, like Indian rishis, I intuited it. But the difference is what they intuit, what they see, what they perceive, they need not verify. But I use my scientific knowledge to verify what I see. Science is to verify. Example, a good Ayurvedic physician holds the hand, feels the pulse, and reads the medical history of the man. How he was, how he is going to be. No tools are required. No stethoscope is required. No thermometer is required. No ECG is required. These are all the scientific tools to verify what the Ayurvedic physician has said. Just to feel the pulse, and he is able to predict the entire medical future of the person or the medical history of the person. This is because of their precise observation and a pure life. First of all, pavitrata is the essential commodity, essential requirement. The entire Indian thought is contained in that purity. Whether it is Dhanurveda or Ayurveda, whether it is Vedic wisdom or the worldly wisdom, everywhere, whether it is secular or sacred, everywhere the requirement is purity. That purity of thought, purity of the rationalism, precise stepping, and purity at the body level, chitta suddhi in one word. Pavitrata. This pavitrata is the basic requirement which our rishis have cultivated. Perhaps they are born with purity, and therefore when a rishi says it is fact, it is veracity, it is the truth. They need not have somebody to verify it, some tools to find it, whether it's perfect, correct or not. For the past several hundreds and thousands of years, we find the calculations of the solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. Did they have the telescopes? Did they have the microscopes? Did they have the scientific tools, technological devices? Were they not able to predict the actual time when the solar eclipse commences? How long it continues, when it gets culminated. It's all because of their perfect observation, number one, their intuition, number two, and their ability to verify. That is done just logically, they don't require any tools. Science is to verify. This truth is beautifully presented in a mythological story. All our mythological stories are symbolic. Swami Vivekananda says, every scripture, every story has to be interpreted, has to be viewed from 4 angles. One is the scientific, the other is psychological, the third is sociological, and the fourth is spiritual. From 4 angles we have to study, and from all the 4 angles we find the Rishipraktam to the perfectly correct. That is the extraordinary nature, feature of our great wisdom given to us by the great Rishis. Swamiji was delivering lectures abroad in Chicago and elsewhere in the European countries. After listening to him for several days, one particular student stood up and said, "Sir, you have spoken wonderfully, very beautifully. I admire your oratorical abilities. You are wonderful. Your intonation, your melody of expression, wonderful. But sir, there is nothing new in what you have spoken." Then Vivekananda said, "True, not only myself, nobody can add anything new to what Rishis have already explained. The entire Vedic wisdom is so profound that nothing new can be added. You may invent new interpretation of the age. You may add some silly stories to them. Some examples are your voice. These are the embellishments, appendages. These are the ornaments to the truth which we have got from the ancestors, from the Rishis. And therefore, what Rishis have said, that truth, that E is equal to mc square, that gravitational pull, all the wonderful laws and discoveries of truth are symbolically represented, explained in our mythological stories. One such story is Lord Shiva is seated in Mount Kailas on a higher pedestal. His spouse Parvati was present by his side. Narada arrived. Who is this wonderful Narada? He is also a seer, Devarshi. Rishi is a seer. And this gentleman is not only a devotee, bhakta, but a jnani, jnana bhakta. There is wisdom in his life, there is devotion. When devotion and wisdom are together, they will shine. Added to that, there is vairagya. All the 3 are present in Narada Maharshi. He is a devotee, he is a wise person, and he has that detachment from the worldly things. All the 3 are essential for a Jivan Mukta to be happy always. That Jivan Mukta state can be attained by a person when the 3 are present: Bhakti, Jnana and Vairagya. All the three are personified, all the three are embodied, all the three are present in this great gentleman, Narada Maharshi. And that Narada Maharshi is the giver of wisdom, is the bestower of wisdom. He was there in all the ages. In Satyuga he was present, in Krita Yuga he was present, in Treta Yuga he was present, and in Dwapara Yuga he is present, and today also he may be present. Whoever is an embodiment of wisdom may be called a Narada. There are people who say Vyasa is an editor, and there are many Shankaracharyas. There are people to say they are all the positions. Now this Narada Maharshi has arrived in Mount Kailas. Shiva is seated, Parvati is seated, and he brought a fruit, the fruit of wisdom, the fruit of knowledge, the fruit of victory, the fruit of truth, and he gave it to Lord Shiva and said, "My dear great dissolver, Layakarta, here is the fruit. Please give it to any person who deserves it." Shiva received it. The two children are present. One is Vigneshwara and the other is Kartikeya. Now, the problem is who is to be given. The fruit is in the hands. It's only a story, a symbolic story. The fruit is present in the hands of Lord Shiva. It has to be given to somebody. It cannot be given without a person being tested, because he said who deserves. Deservingness can be known only when there is a test. First mark. The person who gets the first mark is given the gold medal. That means the deserving student is given the gold medal, the gift, the award. And therefore, a test is to be stipulated. What is that test? The test is whoever goes around the world and comes first to the parents is worthy enough to receive the gift. Vigneshwara, we know, is presented as a Stulakaya with a large belly, short stature, capable of not walking fast, and that is Vigneshwara, the elder son. Kumaran, slim, smart, young, dynamic, energetic, and has a wonderful vehicle, peacock. Whereas Vinayaka has that mouse, slow-moving instrument, slow-moving vehicle. This is a wonderful story known to everybody. Now, the problem is who is to come first. The moment Shiva stipulated the condition, Kartikeya mounted the peacock, went, and he was to come back. Narada gave the idea, wise people. Mata Parvati is Prakriti, Father Shiva is the Paramatma, Jivatma, Paramatma, people speak of, Prakriti and Parameshwara you have, go round them. The entire universe consists of them both. There is no place where there is Atman. Everywhere you have the all-pervading divinity, all-pervading Atman, all-pervading spirituality. And you have the Prakriti. Therefore, both of them are embodied here, they are present here, go round. Vigneshwara is supposed to have gone round 3 times, and wherever that gentleman, Kartikeya, went, he found Vigneshwara already coming. The total plan is completed, Pradakshina is completed, and Vigneshwara is supposed to have won the game. He was given the fruit. And Kartikeya came a minute later or a few minutes later, according to the story. He claimed it because he has virtually gone round. This gentleman has spiritually gone round. Rishis dive deep into their interior consciousness. They dive deep into their self and everything is visible to them. They are mantra drashtas. Scientists, technocrats, the modern people do verify it. They do go around. They also discover the truth, as Einstein has done it, as Newton has done it. But it is a slow process. Rishis were able to find it long ago and without much of effort. They were able to predict, they were able to perceive, they were able to intuit. They are mantra drashtas. Yoga is one such wonderful way of life perceived by the rishis. Patanjali is a great rishi. The way of life outside, the way of life led by many people is not suitable to lead a pure life, pious life, peaceful life, cheerful life. And therefore, he has stipulated a particular way of life. Almost all the ailments, almost all the non-communicable diseases are due to a particular malignity in the lifestyle, in the mindset, in the habits. And those habits are to be modified. That mindset is to be set right. That lifestyle is to be slightly changed. If only man can change it, he can improve his peacefulness, state of peacefulness, and therefore Patanjali has come. Here, in our university, our approach is twofold. One is the rishi way of life. The other is scientific effort to verify the truth propounded by the rishis. Very often we listen to the statement, best of the East and best of the West. What is that best way of the West? Verification. Kartikeya virtually, physically, scientifically, technically, he went round the world. He has demonstrated in the laboratory. He has tested in the laboratory. And he has found it to be correct. What the Ayurvedic physician predicts, he is verified by the stethoscope or even the thermometer. By holding the hand, he would say the temperature is 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you put the thermometer, you will find only 100 degrees. The Ayurvedic physician follows the rishi path. The modern physician follows the scientific path. They both meet. One is to reach early, the other is to reach a little late. That's why almost all the Western scientists, stalwart scientists like Einstein, have great respect for the Indian rishis. It is reported that Einstein has said, I am collecting a few pebbles on the seashore of wisdom, modesty of the scientist. He has been able to understand the grandeur, greatness of the Indian rishis. Here is a particular institution, an academic institution, a university is exclusively set apart for the yogic thought, and there you find both these things. And this is a combination of both para and aparavidya. We usually remember the two types. Arjun has given the worldly knowledge, Viluvidya, to Abhimanyu when he was in the womb. But the man was unable to make use of it for his peacefulness. He was butchered, he was killed, he was destroyed. Narada Maharshi gave the spiritual wisdom, the core of truth, the wisdom of India. And when Prahlad was in the womb of his mother, Narada Maharshi in his ashram gave Narayana mantra. It is nothing but the sacred education, holy education, divine education. And then if you combine them both, you lead a peaceful, successful, useful life. Here Abhimanyu was unable to face the calamity, was unable to face the pressure, whereas Prahalad was put to equal number of difficulties. He was thrown from the top of the mountain, he was hurled into fire, he was beaten by the people, and he was unable to get disturbed. He remained calm, tranquil under all circumstances. He remained peaceful always, and he was always successful. The worldly education may bring us a failure at one point of time. When the worldly education is added, is given the additional touch of the divine education, we will be peaceful and useful. Therefore, in this particular university, we find a combination of Rishi's intuition and scientific verification. In this university, you find the secular utilitarian aspect of yoga and the sacred unfolding aspect of yoga. Best of the East and best of the West, we find here well combined, well projected, well practiced, and well understood. Blessed are the students, blessed are the practitioners of yoga who have come here, because on the scientific pedestal and the spiritual pedestal, we are able to understand the entire yoga concept. Having come to Prashanti, let us extend our mind in such a way that we perceive the grandeur of both and assimilate both for our peacefulness, for our cheerfulness, for our unfoldment. And the great Yogeshwara who is successful as a secular person and a sacred person, he is great Krishna. Let's meditate on him.
Sarve